Good morning and welcome to another beautiful day on the guitar. Today we are kicking it off with some warm-up. You know, our typical morning ritual warm-up routines. I brought another pick today. So that what we could do is talk about the benefits of a thick pick or an articulate pick versus a really thin sort of nylon pick. We're going to talk about the differences between these today. As we start to near the end of the session, the last quarter of the session, we're going to explore some benefits of using other style picks. Good morning, folks. Yes. Good morning. We were involved in a substantial amount of snow removal here yesterday. I don't know about you, but we were removing snow like banshees working the holler. It was a pretty big day yesterday. A lot of comfort food in between. So I maintain a path between our farm here and our son's home, which is, all the way pretty much, the end of the road. But anyway, we go over through the woods, and it was a pretty big day yesterday. Pretty good snow. So if you're skiing powder and you're here in the Northeast, you are in snow heaven. Have any of you heard there's a marketing platform called Ski the East? You guys heard that saying yet? So I'm just going to work through tuning up. The A string is in tune this morning. So we'll just be like if we showed up for rehearsal and we're not really going to get through the 𝗕cie electronic or the Peterson or whatever. We're just going to tune to the A string. This would likely be the A440 on the keyboardist in the group. So we'll just use the A string at 5th fret harmonic so that we can get that tuned up. Here's the A440 for today. I hope you guys all had a wonderful day yesterday. Let's make something beautiful this morning, note by note. We're here to do more than just guitar. I think this is a much larger, more broad brush stroke. We're working on perfecting our guitar techniques for certain. And we'll go ahead and tune up. I'm a little late to the game this morning, so I'll need to focus on my breathing for sure today. That will help me get back into the right frame of mind for this morning ritual. Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Marlon. Second out of the gate this morning. Raul nailing that line drive right off the bat, pushing the runners in, Here's a tip. Here's something that happens. If you have been around long enough, you can tell when I'm mentally rushing because I have a different attack on my pick. And that's probably close enough for jazz, right? Okay, good morning, Mr. Tortorello. Good morning to you, kind sir. Robbie Smith, good morning. We were talking about my funky logo yesterday, and I just found this old sort of collectible from 2013. It's one of the old Rebirth shirts, and we were using the QR codes here before anybody else, really. It was pretty cool because we had Kurt, let's see, what's his, Steve Gillette, and Cindy, his wife. Steve is, Mr. Gillette is a songwriter, a Disney songwriter. He wrote all of those songs that we all heard growing up, I think, and many of us still recognize today. And so he came up to visit, and we were advertising his visit with these QR codes. Nobody really knew what to do with them. All right, so bought some new toys. Uh-oh, what'd you get for a toy? Also, we're a day behind, 2 days behind getting into the parlor. So this was supposed to be converted into, working on conversion into the walk-in pantry by this time, but we've had so much snow, we haven't gotten there yet. Can't wait to hear about those new toys. So Mark, good morning. I think we're in tune. I like to just pull on the strings too to make sure that, you know, I get all of that tension. Sometimes what'll happen when especially if I tune down to a note, that slack sometimes doesn't make it over the nut. And, you know, I want to be sure that when I play the guitar and I'm active on the guitar, I'll end up pulling on the strings sometimes. And then, especially if I'm bending and if I'm playing like Johnny B. Good or something, whatever. So that can happen. Those bends can really pull things back out of tune. So I just go ahead, I'll play these chords, and then just sort of, if they're slightly out of tune, I'll pull on the strings to get that, to release that slag into the active part of the string set. So we'll go ahead and get started this morning. Fingers 3 and 4 on frets 11 and 12. If you're just joining us, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth, which is it's a morning ritual for guitar growth. Actually, it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. But as you jump on board, you realize that it's a bunch of us playing guitar all over the world together in a morning routine. Every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we jump on the live stream here and go through these warm-up patterns. And we're doing 60 beats per minute all year long, all through 2025. I love those loves, man. That's whoever's crushing that love button, love it. Thank you. You could also show your love and enthusiasm by smashing that like button that's associated with the video too. So we definitely appreciate all of that. But the most important thing, your most important and most expensive investment here is your own personal seat time. So without further ado, I will remove the dilly-dally from this morning. So let's go ahead and get started. Fingers 3 and 4, 60 beats per minute, 4 attacks per beat. 1 E ended, 2 E11 and 12, fingers 3 and 4, and go. So we're using down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with a picking hand. And working on my breath, I've got to get myself sort of grounded. I'll probably slide my Birkenstocks off just to get sort of like on the ground. There we go. I'm feeling like it's getting there. Guitar for everyone. Good morning, crew. Oh, I missed a few things here. Sorry about that. What kind of toys, Anthony? Yeah, that's right. Right on it, Raul. Good morning, crew. Mark. Yeah. Good morning, boss. Zach Attack. Zach is back. Good morning for everyone. I need guitar for everyone. I love that G4E. Perfect. An Epiphone Olympic master built and a Gibson SG with a repaired headstock. What? Well, congratulations. Are any of those going to be in ship shape for your February 21st gig this month, coming up? Also, Anthony, how did your gig go this weekend? Didn't you play with a DJ this weekend? 1 E end of fingers 2 and 3, 3 E end of 4 E end of. transition into Angus. I can see that happening. That really slick, quick response, physical response to the downbeat. I can see it happening. Angus is what got me started. This was a long time coming. Very cool, man. Like button won't work because I smashed it already. That's right. Nice work, Mark. I always tune up, not down too. Yeah, that's a good policy. Yeah, we always do the work our way up. That's right. Good life philosophy. Eric Olson, good morning. You have to oil it every day. Yeah, the nut, I usually put some graphite in the nut, you know, underneath where the strings slide over the nut. All right, fingers 1 and 2, here we go. And 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E M. 11 and 12, descending. Will you please teach me to play my guitar? Absolutely, Linda. You are in the right place. I mean, I think you're in the right place. I'm going to go with a gut feeling here and say that you're in the right place. So what we are doing is we are doing the thing before the sign. So we are having the playtime. We are learning all of this mechanical, we are working all of these mechanical angles. If you're a beginner, or if you're an intermediate player, or if you're an advancing guitar player, all of this is relatable. And this will help us to learn the things that we want to learn more quickly and more readily, because we are creating a situation of readiness in our fingers, both our picking hands and fretting hands. Sometimes we do this every weekday morning, Linda, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard, and we go through this process of warming up, and we're going to talk about finger stretching. We're going to talk about why we would do this. We're going to talk about some scalar approaches. Today is day number 2 in pick pattern or strum pattern. This is strum pattern week. So yesterday we started at the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, the last quarter or third. We start working on new things just to keep us pushing forward and absorbing new things and folding them into the mix. It's, you know, it's like making a nice waffle batter. 1 E and a 2 E and a fingers 3 and 4, frets 10 and 12. But this is, yes, this is exactly where we want to be. It's every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do post these videos for on-demand viewing after they have been published. These live streams will publish to be rewatched on demand. And what you can do is, if you have a difficult time keeping up with something, you can go watch it at half speed, you know, 3/4 speed. You can slow it down and play along with us. We do leave the live chat intact because oftentimes, many times, we will have a really highly engaged and exciting live chat from these guitar players in this live chat. The ones who have been here from since before the beginning, actually, are very highly skilled and very, very accomplished guitarists in their own worlds, in their own rights, in their own lives. And they're touring in bands, they're playing gigs, they're playing campfires, they're just hanging out for the good time. There are a number of perspectives here to interface with, and it's all free, okay? The only thing it costs you, and it's the most expensive piece of this, is your seat time. And then once in a while, if you want to throw a super chat out, we do love those too. So fingers 2 and 3, 1 E and a 2 E and frets 10 and 12, go. I hope that's helpful, Linda. Sir, it's 1 a.m. Melody Duo in India. It's night. I get that. So you can watch this melody duo. Thank you for being here. You can, like, maybe you just heard I was, oh, let's go ahead and start this over again. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 and we're descending position 1. My fingers are a little fetched up from operating the tractor all day in the below zero weather. It was cold yesterday. Yeah, we've done a preliminary release on a new song called Still Neighbors. It's got 2 titles, like the title in parens, the second half of the title is Post-Election Lullaby. So it's just a really cool song, and we are getting ready for the official release, but we sort of have been just testing the video here and there. 1 E and fingers 1 and 2, and frets 10 and 12. 2 E and you know what to do, E and I see the likes are coming up nicely. Yesterday we reached a new benchmark. I think we accumulated 40 likes in the span of our live stream. I'm not sure if that's the first. I think that might be the first time we've done it. So we're shopping for 40 likes today. I don't know if we can do it, but I think we can. I think we can. But we're working. Let me get through some more of these chats here. All kinds of us up in here. It's great. Yeah, I love that, Zach. Linda, I can play the trumpet. That's all right. See ya. Bye. Linda, don't go. Sure did. It was great. Nice. Zach, attack. Jason, you're the coolest man. Well, you know, I don't want to enter a debate, but I certainly appreciate the sentiment. I'll tell you that right now. I certainly appreciate that. You know, every one of us can easily deserve. We can absorb those kind words, and I think Zach, I think you're the coolest man. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T. Oh, let's do this. Fingers 2 and 4, and we're just rolling through. We want to get back to the strum patterning and rhythmic displacement. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. I think you know what to do. It's 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. You know that beautiful spread that we've got going on. That 3 fret spread. $200 dancing people. That's an interesting thing, man. That's very, very cool experience. 𝘕𝗿𝘁, what's going on? How can you talk and play at the same time? You're an undercover pro. Oh, hey. I'm an undercover something. I'm not pro, maybe a pro. Yeah, I guess I've been paid for, you know, since 97, you know. I was in, I don't know, I've been paid for a while for doing this. You know, made over probably I don't know, $1 million. It probably could have done a lot better job. Made a little bit, you know, as soon as Quincy Jones says, as soon as you do the thing for money, God leaves the room. And Raul, I did want to comment on that a little bit. I really appreciate your emails of support and your wonderful ideas. So thank you very much, Raul. Those are not going unnoticed. So 1 and 3 and frets 9 and 12. Doing the old stretch-a-rooney. 2, 3, and you know what to do. Bah. There we go. I used to have this one of my mentor teachers and guitar professors at the university, one of the universities, his name was Gary Whitner. And he would always just do this like rhythmic stuff with his body and then illustrate it with his mouth with syllables, and it was the first time that I ever saw anyone behave like that, and I thought, wow, what a, you know, he's pretty confident in his person to behave like that in front of other people. And then I realized, like, that's part of the language, is just getting it in the body, getting it in the soul, and then, you know, you hear the stuff, and the trick is to feel the stuff. Yeah, and then talking and playing does require a lot of practice, but I've had a lot of practice at it. So if it looks easy, it's, you know, it's not an easy thing to do. But I had an early guitar teacher tell me that, you know, eventually, if you want to teach guitar, you really should know how to talk and play the guitar. So you can talk through the modeling, right? So here's the arpeggio, the sweep arpeggio from, you know, from the Mark Knopfler famous Dire Straits tune. And then walking down the minor pentatonic, or basically the minor 7 arpeggio. And then it helps to be able to talk and illustrate, narrate the model that you're delivering. So that's probably something I just picked up and endured that hardship and then suffered. Probably people were wondering what I was saying most of the time early on. But now it sort of works for me, you know, and I appreciate you noticing that. Mostly Crazy all the time is in the house. Here's a guitar wizard right here. Wow. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to be here, Mostly. That's awesome. All right, where are we at? I get so excited. All right, fingers 2, 3, and 4. And fingers 2, 3, and 4, 10, 11, 12. The same old, a little bit more of the same old, but we're just going to pour it on thick in a few minutes. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 10, 11, 12. 200 dancing people. I still can't get over that. I love that sound of that. Glad to have you here, 𝗕𝗿𝗃. Very cool. Are you really gonna ignore me? Oh no, I don't think I'm going to ignore you. I get to these things late. I'm here primarily to practice. And you know, occasionally I've got to, you know, get other people through the practice. And you know, I'm not assuming that you're playing. I'm kind of assuming that you're playing. If you're here hanging out, you're either watching and absorbing and playing, and you're waiting for me to stop talking and just get on with the show, or you're here absorbing the thing so that you can work on folding it into your own routines later on. And so I don't always see the, you know, I don't always see the live chat. But the live chat, I'll have you know that there are a number of great players in that live chat that can answer any questions and respond to any questions at any moment with authority, with authority. Yeah, I love this little thick pick because it really, you can draw that tone out of the guitar. A 1 E and a 2, and a fingers 1 and 2 and 3. Good morning, boss, Dan Husband. Welcome at Linda. Yeah, very nice. I need to start doing thank you for that. Joaquin. Thank you for being here. Hey, 𝗵𝘁. Nice to see you this morning. And Dominic, I see that. So this is happening. If you're new here, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar growth, where what we do is we meet every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do is we work through breath. We work on tuning the guitar before we get started. And then we go through our morning ritual of, we continue our morning ritual of chromatic style exercises. They're simple in nature, and what all we're doing is attempting to nail these things down and then become perfect in our relationship with this part of our guitar lives, our guitar practice. And what do guitar practitioners do? They practice the guitar. All right, so let's take another look. We're here finally at fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're early. We're arriving early, so let's go ahead and keep this motor running. And 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know, fingers. Okay, position 9, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and a 2E and a T and E and a F. What I'll do is walk us through a guided tour. We're all just here alone practicing, but we're with each other, and we have a beautiful live chat. And the live chat is just full of good, positive news. And it's a nice little pocket of respect on the internet. And we definitely appreciate that about this endeavor. So what I'm doing is I'm descending this 4th position now, and then I'm descending to the 3rd position and ascending the 1, 2, 3, 4, the old 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm working on keeping my 4th fingers, all of my fingers relatively close to the fretboard. That way they can be ready to go and fire away and service the fret necessary in order to accomplish the melodic objective. So these are basically nice little linear patterns. Well, what we're going to talk about after we stretch the 4th finger and the 1st finger, you know what I mean if you've been here, we're going to talk about the finger roll exercise again. We don't want to lose that one. We want to maintain that one for certain. You can hear my dog singing with us. I don't know if you can hear him in the background. Tuckerman, come here. Tucker. Tuck. Good boy. Hey, how are you doing? Good boy. No, leave my shoes here. Good boy. How are you? Let's say hi to Tuckerman. Here, Tuckerman. Hey, Tucker. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Do you want to sit down? He's got to get his toy. He's a good boy. Sit. Sit. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Good dog. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. You can stay here with me if you want. Mama's got a week off this week, so we're converting this dog room into the walk-in pantry. So there's a lot of activity. So we'll start with the 1, 2, 3. Stretch the old 4th finger. 1 E and a 2 E and a 9, 10, 11, 13. Dominic, good morning. Oh yeah, so just allow me to complete my thought about the morning ritual for guitar growth is here every weekday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But what we're also doing is we're making a commitment to be here all throughout 2025. I mean, some of us will make it, some of us won't, but those of us who do should record a video of ourselves following along with this so that we have evidence of our practice techniques. And then at the last session of this year, we're going to do a mass recording of us just taking a snapshot of where our technique is, and we're going to go through and review each piece of the rubric, identifying like where we made the gains and what we can do for the next year to improve and make further gains, right? So this is just a morning warm-up. All it is, it's simply an act to get us on the guitar every morning, first thing. We're turning ourselves into solid guitar practitioners, and we're working on getting warmed up for the day, which is going to be, for me, most of the time I'll be in the studio working at some capacity. So it helps for me to warm up in the morning, so I'm warm for the rest of the day, and I can more easily access the things that I'd like to access readily. So let's take a look at kicking that first finger back, and we're starting with 8, 10, 11, and 12 now, and this one's usually a bear for me for some reason. Could have something to do with, I have a little bit of an injury here. You can see that that's sort of like where from about here to about here, is how far the chop saw made it through my finger. So I got pretty lucky on that one. So it was an alarming event. 1E and a 2E and a TE and a 𝘊E and a. Hey Ricky, good morning. Hello, Sir Edwards. Okay, mostly crazy all the time. Still waiting on that name reveal. That's funny. I moved my amp to another part of the room last night. It changed everything. Oh yeah. Yeah, right on. If you meet any of your trumpeter friends, your trumpet playing friends will like, I used to play a lot with a fellow named John, right? And he'd always practice, he'd go find a corner somewhere and literally blow his horn into a corner. And I just let it be for a while, and then eventually I asked him what he was doing, and he said, well, every time I play the trumpet, I blow the sound away from my person, so I can't really study my sound, so I stand in the corner to play my guitar or blow my horn, and that way I get instantaneous feedback on what my tone actually sounds like. So I'm excited to hear that we're experimenting spatially like old school with amp placement and potentially mic placement. Good. All right. So now we're here. We arrived finally at a place where we can do a quick stretch. And we are 30 minutes in, so I'm overdue. Sorry to keep you on your off your stretch game, but we're straightening out the elbow here, and then what we're doing is just pulling back on the, I haven't stretched at all yet today, so this feels great. Just doing a 15 click stretch here. 15 clicks is very simple. Breathing. What kind of amp you using? That's a good question. What kind of music did you play for the 200 people, Anthony? Kempers. Oh, anybody using the Kemper or the fractals? Man, I had the AX3 in the shop for a few months, and I really love those things. And just awesome, great opportunity. You know, there's still it's super close, but there's no, you know. There's not really any, I don't know, I think it's good. I think it's really good, and you'd have to be, yeah, I liked it. And I know I definitely appreciate the value of what it is, but I haven't used any Kemper stuff yet. Anthony, Hot Rod DeVille, oh, nice, 212 clean channel only with tube screamer. Oh, I've got one of those old green ones, the old TS10. From back in the day, you know, the vintage one now they're selling for like $700 on Reverb. Craziness, crazy. 1E and a 2E and a TE and a 𝘊. I'm still counting my time too, still counting. MXR Super Bana if I want more oh, good idea. Ayush, good morning from India. Thank you very much for being here. We're here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7:30 a.m. every day, every weekday morning for the entire year of 2025 and maybe beyond. You never know. I mean, this is what we do. Guitar practicing is what we do. So I'm engaged, deeply engaged. I can't say deeply, but let me get deeply engaged in my stretch here. Forget that I'm supposed to be deeply engaged with my practice routine, my morning ritual routine, and sometimes that entertainer switch gets flipped, and I forget that I don't. want to be that person. So, it's nice to be that person, to be entertaining, but there's definitely a value there, but that's not my objective with this, as you know. So let's go ahead and work on that finger roll exercise. We have a little bit of time before we need to flip the switch over to strum patterns. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about what we're doing. We're going to skip over that diagonal pattern for today, I think. And we're going to just come back to this really nice finger roll exercise. But let me get a little closer. I've chewed some breath freshening gum, so don't worry. It won't be too bad. So we have this nice fingertip here. We're rolling up to, and it's an uncomfortable part of the finger, and it's rolling up to the next smaller string. While that finger is holding that note down, the next available finger is arched up and over it so that we don't interrupt its ringing values. And we're using another uncomfortable part of the fingertip, and you can see these other fingers are wildly out of place. So I'm just going to reel those back in and then roll that finger up. Get that third finger up there on point, and then roll that finger up. Fourth finger up on point and roll that up. This takes a tremendous amount of effort to get off the ground. At least it did for me. I'm going to give you a second to absorb that while I have a wee bit of the bean. Let's go, Tucker. Yeah, right on. Tucker. He's out there whining for mom to come. He wants some attention from mama. See, sorry I get behind on the live chat. I really apologize, but I won't get to everything all the time. That's just the way it's going to work, I think. And of course, Raul is he's the exemplar here in the way that he's recording his morning ritual with another camera so that we can go back and study his technique and the growth patterns over the year. It's kind of a scary thing. So I'm thinking if I get to the end of 2025 and I don't grow at all, I'm thinking, man, what a fraud. You know, I'm putting a little bit on the table here in the way of risk. And I could be fully exposed at the end of this year. And I'm thinking, what would that do to me personally? You know, I don't think so. I think I've gotten over worse. But that's not going to be the case. That's not going to be the case at all. Guitar samurais in training, guitar samurai. Anyone following along for this year will be massively explode this playing level. That's good to hear. That's definitely good to hear. So here we go. Let's work through this finger roll exercise. Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. And then what we'll do is we'll get back to, oh yeah, okay, I need to talk a little bit about the string approach. So when we do this thing right here, we're on 9, and then we're picking on the outside of the strings. Until the face melts off like that Indiana Jones scene. And then we go back to, we descend the pattern, anticipating where the finger will need to be. So there's a little bit of that inside picking going on. So before we were outside picking this 2-string group. All right. Now on our descending pattern, we're inside picking this 2-string group. And then on a very good day, what we're searching for is clean single note sounds. Okay, we're searching for that kind of stuff. We'll spend a couple more minutes on this. We may not get through the entire thing, but let's go through a couple cycles of it. And we'll use 2 attacks per beat. 1, and this is the finger roll exercise. 1 and 2 and T and go and. This is the best way to start a day as a guitar player, absolutely. We are 100% Kempers. Well kempt. Anthony, hybrid picking, strumming on Josephine is impressive. Uh-oh, did I miss something? Oh no, I saw that. Yeah, and me too. Great song. Great writing, great band. Denim Dennis, Josephine on right here on YouTube. Inside picking. Chris, can you play 𝗕𝗿𝗄𝘀 𝘕𝗿𝗄𝑇𝑟𝑖𝑘𝑢? I'll have to take a look at it. I don't know exactly, I'm not familiar with it, but I would love to be familiar with it, so thank you very much for asking. I already knew about him. My bad, buddy. I thought you were asking about his skill level. Sorry. Jihan Ramdani. What is that tic-tac sound? Oh, that's a good question. It's a metronome at 60 beats per minute. If you're still here, I'm not sure if you're still here, but you're more than welcome to grab a metronome and click it at 60 beats per minute and join us. Or you can use this tick sound. I'm really so happy you like my music, our music really is. There's a lesson in that billion views of the cat videos versus musician views, right? There's a lesson there. Let's go, Raul. Yeah, you know what's going on. How are we measuring growth by? Oh, that's a good question. All right, that's the first time we've heard that question. So there's a rubric, and when you're in a performance degree, you're judged. There's a peer review system, and there's a rubric of a number of growth measures that we'll look at. So what I'll do is I'll start talking about that as we get a little closer. So that's a really great question, and I think that's a good time for us to. I know we typically like to come back up the pattern. But we're going to jump over. Now this is like if I just had one of those little hits where we could have a drum roll, but we have, let's just get through the rest of these comments real quick. Just real quickly. ASAP as possible. Oh, cool. Right on. Wait, is the band ASAP? Dan Husband, if you get to the end of the year and have a little growth as a guitar player, you will have had massive growth as a community leader by bringing us all together. So when, oh, all right. I feel like there's a group that I feel like we can take this a little further. I think we can take this further. So there's some work moving forward in that direction. So I like that attitude, boss, Mr. Husband. It's very, very good, cool attitude. Those times are going to be tough, sadly. Yeah, the times will come. The times are coming back. Guitar for everyone. Don't feel sad. It's right here, right now, right in front of us. Yeah, it is. It is. You have a band right there in your house. That's a good one. Zack Attack. Denim Dennis is outstanding. That's the band that our friend here in the live chat, Anthony Tortorella, plays in. So let's go ahead and take a look at Denim Dennis for certain. Great group. And they've got a date here in Philly, I guess this February 21st. So keep an eye out for that, and it'd be nice to be supportive of that. So what we're going to do is we'll just take a look at, rhythmically we talked about let me go ahead and turn my delay pedal off, turn the old flashback off there. So I'm working on just downbeats, just getting with the metronome, 60 beats per minute. And this is part of the strumming situation that we talked about yesterday. We talked about rhythmic displacement. So instead of playing all 4 beats, I might start with only 1 attack per measure, and that attack might be, I might need to study the second beat. 1, 2, T, 4, and so it's 1, rest, 2, 4, 1, 2, could be 2E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4, and 1 and a 2 E and you notice that, if I'm playing Rastafari in a reggae band, I might have to start really thinking about playing my part. 1, 2, T and a 4 and a 1, good, 3 and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 and 3, 4 and a 1. 3 and a 4 and a 1, and so that really helps. And just moving that from the second beat to the third beat, displacing that from kicking it down the bar, just 1 beat makes a huge difference in the feel, the overall feel. It's a completely, the rhythmic pattern is, it generates the feel, it generates in many cases the genre, it dictates what the feel is going to be. What kind of music is it that we're playing? And that's largely based on the rhythmic patterns that we understand and can play. So what I'm trying to teach and share here is that you can play any genre of music, any skill, achieve any skill level, as long as we understand that if we're playing in 4/4, 4 beats per measure, 2 T 4. Occasionally I'll try to count quarter notes. So 1, 2, T, just on beat 1, and 1, 2, T. Sometimes I'll count 1 and 2, and T and 4 and 1. I'll count an 8th note grid, T, and that just tightens up my grid a little bit more. I'll tighten it up even further by counting 16th note grid, 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. If I count only quarter notes, what is going to happen is there's so much, if I count 1 and then rely on the next beat, there's so much space between this attack and the next possible attack or the next beat. It's kind of a guessing game where to precisely place that next attack. If I have 4 subdivisions before that next attack, I can easily keep my place and know precisely where that next attack is going to be. So depending on the tempo, I would recommend counting. You could count quarters if the tempo was like burning hot. You could just drop quarters, or you could count 8th notes, 2 and 3. If you wanted a little more room for like maneuverability, you could just. but it's still, I'm still feeling 16th note grid in there, right? 1 and a 2, T, E, and a, so that helps me to keep things in place. So as we distribute the beat, the single attack per bar through the measure, we could end up on the and of 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1, a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and, or we could end up on the E of 3, 3 E and a 4 E and, or the E and the and of 3, and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and. So you can imagine like all of the wonderful prog rock you could write, you know, when we played all of those rhythmic potential, those rhythmic possibilities in unison as a band. So there's a lot of room there for growth, some serious growth. But we're starting on the 1. Programmatically, we'd start on downbeat, 2, 3, and just practice hitting that downbeat as consistent, be like right there on top of that metronome. It's hard to do. Hey Tucker, what's going on? Woo! He's out there howling. T, 4, and I'm not going to spend all morning on that, but you get the idea. We could kick that over to beat 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and get it as close to 2 as we can. Regardless of whether we're talking or not, we need to know where the beats are. 3, 4. If we want to play in the bandstand, 3, we want to be able to manage our own time, you know, we want to govern all of our own time continuum, right? So if we have 2 attacks per beat, we could do on, you know, 1 and beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we could start working on, you know, the Doobie Brothers might have a different approach. 3, 1 E and a 2, 3, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2, 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2. You know, whatever we're fooling around with. So that rhythmic displacement really, really is important. And then when we start working on introducing that into our harmonic hygiene, so our harmonic hygiene or our rhythmic hygiene becomes really important. The basic strum pattern that I remember, well, the first one I remember learning was sort of a blues shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we're also taking that same beat, and instead of breaking it down in duple form, we're breaking it down in tertiary into 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what we would do is play on the 1 and the 3, or the triplet, 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 or the 1 and 3 of each grouping. Or if we wanted to count it out first so we could identify where exactly those 3 beats are, those 3 attacks belong, we lay down the framework. And that's when all my troubles start to begin. I get the blues, the third shift blues. got to play the game now. If you don't want to lose. So that triplet feel really makes, it really is a whole different plant. It's a whole different rhythmic language to really attach ourselves to, to really absorb and learn about. But even before we get to that, we're still working on sort of the bass note, sort of the boom chick strum pattern. And then this is where we get super clean. We could use just basic root note, presenting the bass note first. The bass note could be anything. The bass note could be the root note, or the alternate or changed bass note, or like the fifth, for example. So we have the root, and then the fifth in the bass, root, and then the fifth in the bass. And I'm really working on strumming. I'm focusing on not pushing my way through the string set. Just gingerly, you know, tiptoeing through the tulips, you know. This is really hard for me to do and make sound like record ready, like super clean. I mean, I've got fingernails touching strings, you know, adjacent or contiguous strings. So I'm just working on simply playing one attack per beat. And then this is, so this would be four attacks per measure. Now that I've got this figured out with the C chord, I'm going to try another chord, which is going to be G7. So that transition is, I often will take that kind of thing for granted. And for some, what I'm doing here, it might look easy, and for others, it might look like it's, you know, I could improve my situation, you know, depending on where we're coming from. This really, before we even transition from one chord to the next, I really have to work on studying. I'm really not playing anything in relation to the metronome. I'm just simply studying where I need to go from this C chord to the D7, for example. Well, for example, like that, first finger can remain on fret number 1, and all I need to do is watch the third finger go up to the second fret on the high E string, and the second finger goes up to the fret 2 on the G string. So moving from this chord to this chord becomes a source of study. And I might, before I even try to place this in a chord progression, I might practice this at least 25 times, you know. So we're starting with just basic one attack per beat, trying to just get that super clean. It's like, if you're a Harley-Davidson mechanic, you know what it's like to have that motor running like super clean, right? Or if you're a Porsche or an Audi mechanic, you know what the motor's supposed to sound like in tune. Now we can experiment with just playing that one note, and then we can experiment with just work. See, before I get too out of control, I've got to get my left hand, my fret hand dialed in, place the thumb where it needs to be. So that right hand is really thinking, am I playing the bass note and then the top 3 strings, or am I playing the bass note and then including the D, G, and B, and including all other strings? Well, I'm trying to, just for this exercise, I'm trying to keep it at bass note and then top 3 strings. 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 Just nice and simple approaches this week. All right, that's me for now. And any other questions? I'd like to see if I can make it through the rest of what's going on here. We need more thumbs up. That's cool. Hey, we've got a, you know, we're at 22. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. We're good. That song's still under 1,000 views. Can you believe it? I think Bruno Mars has like 1 trillion. Fingers look like George Lynch on the fretboard. Oh, George Lynch, the old ESP guitar with a skull on it. Man, they did a wonderful job marketing guitars in the 80s and 90s. The American guitars are just, you know, amazing. I don't understand why people count rhyme or even classify it into type of notes, when in reality for me, rhythm is what you feel, not counter-predict, in my opinion. Yeah, that's a, you know, reasonable opinion, you know, reasonable. The drill for me is to get so good at it, internalize it, absorb it, and then forget it, you know, so then I'll be a true master. So if I can memorize every rhythmic permutation that I would ever likely use in a live performance situation, that's where I want to be. And so in turn, I have to go through the motions to strum the strums and master those strums. And through that repetition, I will find a moment of trance, which will open the door for me to get to another place, which I otherwise would never have seen. So that's what's going on here, and I failed probably. Now I need to mention that repetition is absolutely a huge part of what I'm talking about. Sitting with that and playing the mundane and the monotony and the, you know, ad nauseum, that will unlock other doors for me, and always has, and it always, almost always produces something useful for me, which maybe I will notate in my musical journal, or which maybe I won't. But most likely I'll like to take notes on the thing. So I see Kevin. Okay, class, have a great day. Until tomorrow. Kevin, thank you for being here. Say hi to Pop for us. And we're jumping along with you today because your seat time is important and irreplaceable, and we can't get that, we can't reclaim that time. And I know you will squander your time the way you would wish to squander your time, but I don't want to be the one that teach you to do it. So Tucker is howling dead on the metronome. Let's go, Tucker. He's pretty good. He knows what's going on. He's a smart guy, smart little doggy. Down around the corner. Well, boys, I gotta fight the dragon and wake my daughter and go to bed. Hey, you're doing the Lord's work, man. Have a good day. Mostly crazy all the time. Good to see you. Thanks for everything, crazy man. All right, Mark. Really good stuff today, Jason. Keep it moving and getting the rhythm. Thank you, thank you. How to master. How do I do harmonic tapping? Harmonic tapping, like the Lenny Bro stuff. That kind of thing. We can talk about that. I should do a session about that. Good question, not master. Okay, class. All right, Kevin's gone. That means we're gone. 𝘕𝘁, gonna listen to some Denim Dennis. Yeah, excellent choice, my friend. 𝘕𝘁, give them a like. They're a banging band. You're gonna see a lot more of them. I have a feeling in the near future. Mark, if I haven't done this, I couldn't do that. If I hadn't done that, I couldn't do this. Love it, man. This is such a treat. So I'm excited. I want you guys to stay excited, and until we meet again tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will wish you, my friend, happy picking.